All right, guys, we are back on the Dr. Dolly Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So if you guys haven't seen the headlines recently, STDs or STIs are on the rise. We used to call it STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. I guess now they're called sexually transmitted illnesses to kind of make it sound like it doesn't have to necessarily be a chronic thing. But either way, I'll be using the term STD, STI interchangeably. And people don't understand with, the access to condoms and condoms being like all over the place. Like this is from Silver State. Silver State gives out free condoms and, it's really easy to get these. Why are STDs on the rise? So I have a theory. One is people may think it's so easy to get treated for an STD that they don't necessarily have to use a condom. This whole YOLO thing, you only live once. Some people prefer sex without a condom, so they're like, heck with it. The other thing that I think could be happening is people are not protecting their toys. And so when you use objects during sex, that could transmit STDs also. So you have to put condoms on those too. So a condom can technically be 98% effective, maybe even close to 99% effective if done right. However, the numbers are usually in the 80s because people don't put a condom on correctly. So I'm going to show you how to put on a condom, okay? Now, keep in mind, I don't have a lot of models here. This was supposed to be my banana for lunch, but it's kind of a little limp. Although this really might be more realistic to what I had to go through. But I got this banana that isn't ripe yet. This is supposed to be for tomorrow's lunch. So we use this and we use a condom. Now, this isn't the type of condom that you break open. You got to be really careful. You don't want to use scissors. You don't want to use your teeth because if you break the condom open or if you rip the condom, then the condom doesn't work. So you basically open it up. Okay, and it's kind of wet. So you got to be careful because it's going to be kind of like gooey. All right. People ask what's the lubricant on these things. There's like silicone, there's glycol, a lot of different chemicals on these things. Okay, wait, now I forgot which way is up and which way is down. I got to figure this out. Non-oxidol 9 is a spermicidal jelly. There's also flavorings on these things, not particular this kind. So there's a lot of things that could be on this. You got to be careful you're not allergic to it. Some women are like, oh, I'm allergic to condoms. Well, there's latex-free condoms. There's, I'm going to get this stuff all over. Okay, so basically, you want to make sure you have it inside out. Now, you don't want to touch it too much. Okay, you know what? Both sides are sticky. Oh, you know what? Let's do this side. Okay, let's do this side. Okay, so basically, sorry, guys. No, see, okay, it's the wrong side because you see I can't roll it down. Okay, so you got to go, because you have to be able to roll it down. But before you roll it down, one is you want to inspect the condom. So you want to make sure that the condom isn't, like, ripped. Okay, next, oh, boy. Okay, next. By the way, this does not parallel anything in my past, okay? You got to keep in mind, I haven't done this in about like 20 years or longer. Well, except there was the FedEx driver, but we won't go there. Okay, now what you have to though do is you got to make sure there's no air in here. So you want to squeeze the tip, but you want to make sure that there is room for the tip because there has to be some milliliter room for semen. You have to have some volume there. And then you basically kind of roll it down, see? Okay, and you roll it down. It's really sticky. And you have to roll it all the way. So now this condom is longer than the banana. Sometimes that happens. That's okay. All right. It's okay. People are like, well, I got to hide the fact that I didn't unroll the whole thing. That's okay. And this is, I think, an extra large condom, maybe. I don't really know. So, of course, you might have some extra. But what you want to make sure is you want to cover it as much to the base as possible. Now, it is sticky. We sometimes underestimate where STDs can be contracted. So, like, a lot of guys like to manscape and they will, shave certain areas. Well, the problem with that is you may nick yourself shaving, even microscopically. So if a female or a male has an STD and you have sex with them and you have the nicks from the shaving from your manscaping, then you are at risk. And a condom doesn't go all the way over there. So the condom only kind of covers, yeah. So this is a family show, so we have to be really, really careful about, saying the P word. So your organ, let's call it organ, okay? Yeah. I think the music in the background. So your condom is not going to be 100% effective if your partner has, let's say, herpes, okay? Herpes you could get from skin to skin contact. Still use condoms because it's still the best way to protect you, but know that if you are having sex with a partner, make sure they get their STD testing. Make sure you get your STD testing because the condom can only do so much. So people will come in and go, or they'll call and they'll say, okay, well, just do my HIV and check me for the clap. Yeah, we used to call it the clap. The clap, I'm not sure where that name came from. Was it because you kind of clap the wall because it hurts so much when you peed? Or I don't know why they call it the clap, but they just did. And, you got the clap and like, hey, you had sex. But I don't really know where that came from. But there's more STDs you need to be tested for than just that. So when I would run an STD panel on people, I would run HIV, I'd run syphilis, I'd run hepatitis, I'd run herpes, gonorrhea, chlamydia, cultures like trichomonas. And then, bacterial vaginosis can actually be spread back and forth. I've seen women getting yeast infections being spread back and forth. And then, of course, HPV. And HPV can give you genital warts. So if somebody has genital warts, the condom offers some protection, but not entirely because, again, that's skin-on-skin contact. So, condoms have been around for the longest time. They used to use animal intestines. They used to actually use tortoise shells for condoms. It's crazy, the different material. In fact, I think in the olden days, they used to use linen, and the guys didn't like the linen because it would fall off. And then in some societies, they stopped suggesting condoms because they thought it would promote immorality, people having sex outside of marriage. And then, of course, there were STDs and things like that. So it wasn't until the vulcanization of rubber, I think Goodyear tires back in 1855 figured out how to vulcanize or soften rubber. And that's how we started to have condoms that were able to be more pliable. And it wasn't until the 50s where we added lubricants. And then it wasn't until the 80s when we added spermicidal jelly. So, condoms have definitely grown. In fact, in the news this week, they're talking about a luxury condom that's vegan. So, I'm not really sure how you're supposed to consume a condom, but I guess people consume them. All right, guys, so that's how you put on a condom. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY.